remove your suffering by remembering. By remembering. That's what we're here to do right now. If you're just clicking on this video, we're a community building a daily meditation practice. For everyone else, it's good to see you again. I was reading the comments. I was looking over a lot of the feedback I asked for, so thank you for that. So it seems like people are really feeling that they like the guidance, and I'm talking about you, Keeler. Thanks for that. Sandra, appreciate you. I'm on board, so I will continue to give the guidance that I think may help align you within your practice. So just, giving more background about me. I've been meditating very regularly since 2016. I've done silent meditation retreats, traditional Vipassana retreats, done transcendental meditation retreats, as well as practice yoga, studied, Taoism, Hinduism, the philosophies of non-dualism, and many different interpretations of that. Prayer, all sorts of, types of spiritual practice, and I would like to share those with you. So just to give you a little bit more context about my background. So when it comes to guidance, what I would like to, give to the community, to everyone here is, there's more than one path to what you're seeking, right? So all of the spiritual masters of the past, all of, the zeitgeist of the spiritual communities that are all across YouTube, across the world, everyone is doing that for the same reason, right? There's always this attainment, something we've got to, do the technique and then you're enlightened, There's this idea in pop culture, pop spiritual culture, that you have to do something. If you do it long enough, then boom, you pop. And you're all of a sudden in a higher vibration, your body vibrates and you walk through a wall, or you have an ego death and you become God or something. Really from the real spiritual masters of our living age, like the Mujis, very recently passed, like Ram Dass and all of these others, really what they're pointing to is the essence of who we truly are. They're pointing to the fact that, hey, all of these things in our reality are distracting us from the truth that we are not our thoughts, right? We're not our mind. We are not our desires, our emotions, our feelings, our sensations. We are not, the mind. We are not our physical body. Because we will decay and die. That's universal truth, right? Just like as a flower blooms and is beautiful in the sun, when the winter comes, it will wither, die, blow away, be ground into dust, and travel on the wind to be recycled into the earth, eaten by a bird, replanted and rebloomed. It's the cycle of samsara, of birth, death, rebirth, right? So it's this wheel that we're all on. And a lot of spiritual texts, histories, masters, gurus, whatever you call them, religious leaders, everyone points to that truth, right? And so that's what we're here to remember. That's why I say, would you like to remove your suffering, right? All of our sufferings, pain, problems in this reality is solved by emptying ourself, our personality, emptying the personality, emptying our mind, detaching from or not buying into, our desires. Like, hey, I really, really want this sports car. I really want the helicopter. I really want that private jet. And I'm sad right now because I don't have it, and I'm striving every day to get the thing. And then what you hear most of the time is when somebody gets the thing they want, they no longer are happy. They're depressed, or they feel down, or they want more, right? And so there is no satisfying the mind. There's no satisfying the desire. The only truth is that there is permanence and impermanence, right? And so everything in our reality is impermanent, except for what, right? What is permanence? Where is permanence? And permanence is within the space of stillness, within the place where you could say God resides, the place where, and the language gets in the way of the actual understanding, the felt understanding, right? Because these concepts can be understood, but it's only, 99%, right? That extra 1% is the intuitive understanding that we touch, but we can't explain. And that is the stillness. That is the breath. It is the space between our perception and being aware that we have thoughts, right? We have desires. There's space between that. So you can recognize you have a desire towards something. You can recognize that I'm experiencing something that is changing, right? I'm happy today, tomorrow I'm sad, the next day maybe I'm happy, joyful, I'm thirsty, I drink, and I'm not thirsty anymore, right? Same with ourselves, right? And so what is that permanence? How can we access it? And we access it through mindfulness, using our awareness, which is a power that we have as humans. And that awareness creates this space. So, for example, we're meditating during our 10-minute session today, and we see during that meditation, you might have a thought that pops in. You're thinking about, what they said to he said and she said, and how you felt about that. You regret something you did in the past, thinking about how you won't do it in the future. All of these things you're thinking in your head, right? You can recognize that that's happening, where you can be fully in it, right? The space is found when you have the perception that those thoughts are happening. There's a past, there's a future, but they don't exist. You can't touch them. They're gone. They're figments of your imagination, your mind. The only thing that is solid and permanent is the present moment. And so once you come from that present moment place, you go, aha. So then I'm just using my imagination. Okay, there's imagination. That's fine. I can let that be there. I can watch those thoughts play out. I can watch that mind movie play out. That's fine. What I'd like to say is that my intention in this moment is to recognize you and then bring it back to stillness. I want to bring my attention back to stillness. And so you sit and rest and find relief and peace. Find peace, find joy in that space of realization, in that space of recognition, in that place of acceptance, of emptiness, that place of quiet, that place that might feel different, that is solid, that is permanent between recognition of my thoughts, my mind, my imagination, recognition of the symbols that are appearing in my life that I buy into, recognition of my sensations, my feelings in my body, and recognition of the external and internal awareness. So I can feel I'm happy, sad, confused, disgusted. I am dejected. I am depressed. I am joyful. I am elated. I'm elated, whatever it might be, right? That's the internal awareness. The external awareness, I can feel the wind. I can hear, people talking. I can interface with my world. I can, have relationships with people, beautiful relationships. I can see everything happening. I can experience it. But the recognition of that space, that remembering, that felt sense of there is space here, there is awareness here. I am the perceiver of my experience. That place, if that is foreign to you, put in the comments. If you would like me to expand more upon this place of stillness that we can access through what is called our awareness, let me know, and I'd like to make it very simple. I can tell maybe more stories about it. But for the next 10 minutes, let's sit in the stillness, in the space between our mind, our thoughts, our imaginations, our sensations, all of our senses. Let's sit in the place of where we can recognize and observe everything that's going on in this present moment, the only thing that's real. And in this moment, we're going to recognize everything. So you can meditate with your eyes open, your eyes closed, sitting, standing. You can go for a walk and meditate. You can sit with your eyes closed. It doesn't matter. So as you meditate in this mindful space, you are saying, I recognize that I have a mind with thoughts. I recognize I have a body with desires. I recognize that I have sensations that are not permanent, that are ever changing. And I'm going to observe them for 10 minutes. And I'm going to rest in the stillness of my being, which is the only permanence. I'm going to rest in the stillness of my being, which is the only permanence. And we'll meditate for 10 minutes. And we begin in 3, 2, 1. Okay. How did that go? Check in. Check in with me. Check in with all of us here in the comments. Or send me an email. My email's in the description if you want some dedicated time. I'd love to answer you in more detail anywhere you feel comfortable if you want something more anonymous. So if you're still listening, you made it through the 10 minutes, you're here at the end, you're wondering why we're even still talking, I would say what I would like to express to you is that this is where the real work begins. This is where you decide if meditation and the spiritual path is the right one for you. Because it's really easy just to leave here and we're all going to go do our lives the way we do our lives, right? But the difference is that this is a tool that we can use to remove all of the suffering and pain that we would normally not have a way out of, right? The Buddha said that all life is suffering, right? But there's also two sides to that in a dualistic sense of the world. There's pleasure and there's pain. But if you detach from all of them, there's peace and bliss and truth, right? And so what I'm offering here is the path for you to taste and experience authentic, permanent peace, bliss, and truth. And the way to do that, it takes work. It takes willpower and focus. Showing up every day and 10 minutes, just 10 minutes every day. Focus on that awareness space, It's hard because you'll be meditating and pop into a daydream, and it's easy to just let yourself just be taken, right? It's hard, and that's where the focus and the willpower comes in for you to say, I'm focusing on meditating for 10 minutes. Just being aware of it, watching the daydream happen, and then acknowledging and saying, hey, my intention I've set before meditating for 10 minutes is to be in the stillness, present moment, awareness space, right? That's where I will be. And you recognize it. You don't make an enemy of it or try to turn off your thoughts or block thoughts from happening. That doesn't happen. You just detach from them, meaning allow them to be there, and they will become weaker and weaker with time. But sometimes they come back very strong, especially when you start to have progress. And that progress is coming to meditation thinking, it's just another day of watching my thoughts. I'm getting really good at this now, right? And that's when you're going to slip into a meditation that really tests you, right? Where you're daydreaming the whole time, you're almost falling asleep. You're, feel like you don't want to be here. You feel that I want to stop, that I could just go eat cake and watch Netflix, like no problem. And you can still eat cake and watch Netflix. That's fine. But are you wanting to give yourself tools and actually experience the truth of our existence on this world, right? As the spiritual masters and teachers of the past millennia have told us about. It's your choice right now whether to do the work. And it's simple work. It's 10 minutes a day. You're never going to have a perfect meditation. You're never going to have a perfect practice, right? And practice doesn't make perfect. No, it's perfect practice. Perfect practice. Perfect practice is the practice. That's what it means. You are just going to have perfect practice every time. And a perfect practice is just showing up and remembering you're not your thoughts. You're not what your mind is telling you, showing you in your imagination. You're not the past. You're not the future. It doesn't exist. There's only the present moment. There's only the awareness space. There's only the perception of all of the events that are temporary. And the only thing that is not temporary, that is solid, that is eternal, the eternal stillness, the eternal being of who you are. You are a human being, not a human thinker. You are a human being, not a human desire. You are a human being, right? So just be. Do nothing and be. And as you do nothing and be, that is when your practice begins. And you will have to come up against this social construct that we live in. Some call it, in pop culture, some call it the Matrix. But if you go back to the mystics of ancient times, they called it the Maya in Sanskrit, right? That's a translation, but the Maya, that is what the Buddha spoke about, right? It is the thought forms of this world that put the fog over your eyes, that show you an illusion that we have been born into. We're born into illusion, and then the veil is lifted. And that is enlightenment. Enlightenment is understanding that all of this is illusion, and the only truth is that it is an illusion. And the only thing that is solid is our awareness and perception, right? Our awareness and our perception of ourselves, and the truth that we're all one. We are all one. There is only one awareness, right? And so if this is resonating with you, put in the comments and let's get started. Let's build this practice. Let's do this daily habit. And I will tell you that doing this now for, every day in front of you guys has been a crazy experience. Sometimes I'm meditating and I'm falling asleep. I'm daydreaming and I'm coming out of it thinking like, oh my gosh, like that was a very intense bout against my own mind perception. It almost feels like, wow, this is exhausting. And then I realize that I'm trying too much. I'm coming to this with the wrong intention. I'm attempting to gain something, right? I'm attempting to create something with a technique. And it's like, no, you need to strip away everything, empty yourself, do nothing, sit in the stillness. Remember that you are the stillness, the being in the present moment. You are not everything else that's temporary. You are permanent. So that's the practice. And we've all been on this journey now for over 120 days, I think 123 days. Let's continue. And along the way, we're all going to learn more and more about our practice and the struggles, the triumphs of showing up, of having breakthroughs. And the breakthroughs will come and we will not cling to them, right? We can judge them as a breakthrough, but really the only thing that is there is the eternal awareness. And what we remember and sit in that space, we can bring that into our daily lives. We can bring this awareness into our lives. And through that awareness, we can achieve all of the peace, bliss, and truth of this reality at any time, at any moment. Because you're already enlightened. You're already enlightened. You are already enlightened. You are already there. So, you just have to remember. I'm going to leave everybody with a quote from a 16th century German poet and priest, Angelus Silesius. God, whose love and joy are present everywhere, can't come to visit you unless you aren't there. This is a long one, so if you're still here, I'm grateful. And I will see you for tomorrow's meditation session, which should be a little bit shorter than this. I'll see you soon. Bye.